Happy New Year! 2021 has come, and for many, this marks an opportunity to create some change in one's life. I know for me, the new year is always a very sacred moment in my life, in my personal life, because I honor it in the sense that I start to really look at my life as a whole and where I'm heading with my life. I try to zoom out and look at the whole thing, look at the timeline of my life from a very objective point of view and really see like, what is it that I'm doing here really? What am I trying to create with the time that I have on this planet? So it's a very important time, and I started to think about some of the habits and resolutions that I had set for myself during the previous years, and for me, the most important resolution that I set for myself was back in 2015, the end of 2015, going into 2016. I decided that I'm going to meditate on a daily basis. I set that as my New Year's resolution, and I've followed through with it ever since. So now, thinking back, during this 5-year journey of doing this meditation practice, I thought that it could be quite useful to shoot a video talking about the things that I wish I knew when I first began meditating. Right? Some of the mistakes and some of the traps that I fell into during this 5-year period that if I would have known about earlier, it would have cut my learning curve quite significantly. So I'm going to share those with you now and take what you can out of them. Number 1, quality over quantity. 20 minutes of focused meditation is going to do more for you than doing 40 minutes or an hour of unfocused, very scattered type of meditation. When I first began meditating, I had this kind of simplistic notion that the longer I sit, the more benefit I get, the more progress I'll make on the meditation cushion. And now, there's some truth to that. There's definitely value in sitting for longer periods of time. But also, there is truth that when it comes to the quality of the meditation, if you have to choose between quality or quantity, it's definitely quality, right? You will get way more out of a focused meditation session than you would if you were just kind of like sitting kind of half committed and just like half daydreaming about something completely, unrelated. So it's very useful to keep this in mind, because a lot of people get discouraged. They think, oh, I would meditate. I would start to meditate, but the problem is I don't have time. Like, I don't have time to sit for an hour a day, so why would I even begin? But thing is, you don't have to sit for that long. You can sit for 10 minutes. If you do 10 minutes of very deliberate, committed practice, you're gonna see a very fast progress if you really commit to that 10 minutes. So it's not necessarily about the quantity. I would focus primarily on the quality. Number 2, meditation doesn't end when the timer goes off. What I mean by this is that it's very easy to fall into the trap of practicing being in the present moment only when you are on the meditation cushion, and then as soon as the timer hits, the timer goes off, what you do is you just like go about your day as if, you hadn't even meditated. You don't even consider anything, any insight you had during the meditation, right? So really, that's the big mistake I made at the beginning, is I kind of treated meditation as this kind of thing that I just had to get done with. And once I'm done with it, I can just like put it to the side and just go about my day as if, my life and meditation are two separate things. But over the years, I've realized that actually there's no boundary between the meditation and life, ordinary life, right? Those two are one. So whatever you do in meditation, you can do in your ordinary life. You can make your whole life a meditation. You can wash your whole life with presence. And so a great way to do this is just like start to really do things mindfully when it comes to like very ordinary basic activities that you do on repeat usually every day, like walking to the bus stop or driving your car or doing the dishes. You can do these very consciously as if it's a meditation, and actually doing this is going to do wonders for your practice and for your overall development when it comes to meditation and spirituality and awareness. You are just going to see more progress at a faster rate. 3, don't worry about the results of meditation. Focus on the process. It's very easy to kind of be anticipating these results from the meditation, be obsessed over like getting some result, some like outcome from your practice, or having some breakthrough, just waiting for that breakthrough. And this is actually a big trap. By focusing obsessively on the outcome of meditation, you are going to hinder your process, and it's going to be very difficult for you, or it'll be slower for you basically to make progress with the meditation, because it's like you have this wall in front of you all the time. So yeah, focus instead on the process. That's the biggest thing that I can say, is just to focus on the process, focus on the practice. Don't think about what results you're getting. Don't think about, oh, I'm still not peaceful. My mind is still very active. I am not making any progress here. All these thoughts, see, they are the mind's trick of getting you outside of the present moment. See? Because actually, all those thoughts are happening in the present moment. It's only when you get caught up in the content of those thoughts that when you actually kind of lose sight, lose awareness over the present moment. All right? So don't worry about the result. Don't worry about any of the results or outcomes that your practice is yielding you. Just focus on the process, and through that, those results, those outcomes that you seek, they will naturally dribble down into your experience. You won't have to worry about them. All right? So a good rule of thumb, the less you're focused on the outcome, the desire, the less you're obsessing over the result, the faster it will come. Number 4, meditate when you're feeling alert and wakeful. At the beginning of my journey, for the first 2 or 3 years, I didn't really pay so much attention to when I was meditating or how I was feeling when I was meditating. I just thought, well, it's all the same. I can do it whenever because it's just a practice. Over time, however, I have come to realize that there are specific moments during the day when your meditations are just going to be more effective. The practice session is going to be more powerful. And specifically, this time is when you are most wakeful and most alert, mentally and physically. Right? For me, the best time to meditate is early in the morning after I've got up, had some water, and got my body awake to the point where I'm not gonna, drift off back to sleep anymore. I tend to meditate on an empty stomach, and before I have any social interactions or use social media or the internet. I find that as soon as I jump on the internet or the social media, I'll get caught into something, whatever is posted on social media or whatever I find on the internet. I'll get caught up in that, and my mind will start, going about that. And that, of course, is going to affect the meditation. So I find the best time to do your practice is when you have this blank slate. Your mind is very blank. Nothing has happened during the day yet that your mind could cling on to. And it just gives you less distraction during your session. I find it just works best. Intention is key. Keep reminding yourself of why you practice instead of robotically going about the process. I actually made a video about this because this is a very important topic when it comes to effective practice. When I say intention, what I mean by that is that you want to know why you practice. You want to have the purpose to your practice. You want to have a reason why, and you want to keep reminding yourself of that, because by laying down that intention, just like giving yourself 1 or 2 minutes before the meditation, just to kind of ground yourself in some of the reasons why you practice. This will kind of get your mind more invested in the practice, and you're going to have more powerful sessions because of it. It's just useful to get your whole being on board before you meditate. I made this mistake for quite a while. And this mistake actually came about a bit later, because when I first started, I had a very strong intention, and I knew why I was meditating and knew why I was practicing. But somewhere, a couple years down the road, 3 years down the road, after I'd kind of really got that habit, got momentum with that habit, I started to practice a bit robotically and kind of forget about my intention, and instead just do the practice and go about my day, do the practice, go about my day, not really focusing on why I'm doing it. And it was just more of like a job to do, a task to complete. And this is the wrong way of going about it, because personally I've found that the most powerful spirituality happens in an organic way. It unfolds naturally. And so one of the keys to keeping it organic and having like heart in your practice is to keep reminding yourself of why you do it. And also related to intention, it's also important to remind yourself of what the practice is that you're doing, right? Because there's many different techniques you could be using. There's many different methods. And just clarifying to yourself, hey, what's the actual technique, or what's the method that I'm using now while I'm about to sit? And just reminding yourself of that, so it's also, you're not unclear during the session of like, what am I supposed to be doing here, right? So if you've decided to focus on your breath, that's what you're doing. You clarify that to yourself right before you begin. It's going to be way easier for you to focus on it, because you know what you're doing. You're like, oh yeah, right, breath. And if you're just getting into meditation, or you've been meditating for a while and you want to take your practice to the next level, here are the 3 pieces of advice I'd give you. 1, don't get discouraged if you get lost in thought. If you notice yourself lost in thought, don't think you failed. It's actually a success every time you notice, oh, I was lost in thought. Oh, that was a story that I was absorbed in, but I'm no longer absorbed in it. Don't worry if you have those revelations during your session. You realize, damn, I'm thinking again. That's a positive thing, because you're now gaining mindfulness over the fact that you are thinking. That's a very significant step in the process. 2, do not concern yourself with the results. Focus on the process. Just focus on being intentional and committed and present in your practice, and let the rest unfold by itself. And lastly, I would say practice daily. Alright, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please click the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post weekly videos related to psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and combine my passion for cinematography with these cool ideas that I find from studying human nature and studying consciousness. If you're interested in that, if you're a like-minded person, click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.